We got Chris Forsberg, John Tomase here with me. And Forsberg, Danilo Gallinari was brought in as a depth piece, but now hearing that he could be out, there's some reports actually out there that he could be out for 2 months, missing NBA training camp, possibly the beginning of the regular season. What domino effect does that have on the Celtics team?
Well, certainly when you think about the Celtics, the whole thing this offseason was adding depth and having additional pieces. But, if you have to weather that storm, maybe it's only a month or two, kind of like by Christmas, you turn them loose a little bit. You still get depth pieces like Grant Williams who can step in. Sam Hauser up on the parent roster this year. There are bodies that they can throw out there, and we'll have some competition at camp. They brought in a bunch of guys like Noah Vonleh, and there's a chance for those guys to show what they can do. Luke Cornett, maybe one of those guys emerges with greater opportunity, but I don't think this is a huge deal as long as he's doing the path like Robert Williams did, where it's cutting off the section that is torn, and you're back out there probably playing basketball in 4 weeks and ramping yourself up. It's not a situation like Rob where in the playoffs they had to throw him out there. They'll trade cautiously here and make sure he's feeling good, especially with a prior history of knee ailments.
Am I wrong, Forsberg, to say that, a 34-year-old who doesn't play a lot of defense, good shooter, obviously, but we're really talking about like the eighth man. I don't want to overstate what Gallinari is like. In crunch time, I am not playing him over Grant Williams. I mean, maybe if you need to make a shot, but certainly defensively, Williams is a better player. I feel like this isn't Malcolm Brogdon. If this were a Brogdon injury, I think we would be having a very different discussion. I just feel like, Gallinari is kind of a guy towards the back of the rotation.
Yeah, so I put it this way. How many wins does your eighth man get you over a 2-month span? Maybe he helps you steal one win. Maybe he comes in, gives you an offensive jolt on a night you don't have it. But just like you said, the construct of this roster is built around defense. And, a part of bringing him in, and not that Grant Williams needs to be pushed, but it was going to put a squeeze on Grant's minutes. Now Grant has a greater opportunity at the start of this year to prove that last year wasn't a fluke, that he can show that versatility and play the 4 and the 5. So, you never say like an injury is a good thing, but like you can weather this one. This isn't, oh man, you don't have Rob or Al or, the only downside is those two guys do have to play a bit more minutes early, when I think you'd prefer to tread cautiously with them and maybe ramp them up along the season. So there maybe there's going to be some juggling about how you play that minutes at the 5 and 4. But I think this team is well equipped now with Brogdon to weather that storm.
You have a good number of NBA players that are playing in this FIBA World Cup. You got Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, Jonathan Kuminga, just to name a few. But Forsberg, how do you feel? What's your reaction to players, NBA players, playing in this tournament, knowing that there's very real risk for injury when you're out there playing during the offseason?
Yeah, look, last year I was watching Tatum at the Olympics, and you're holding your breath every time he goes into a crowd or, goes up for a layup or a dunk. That's just part of it. But, I mean, this means something to those guys, especially players like Gallinari who have a lot of national pride and they want to be out there. I would hate it, 34 years old. He can't do this forever. He wants to be out there. And it is pretty good ramp up for guys like him who don't play a ton of minutes. It's more for me, it's the superstars. And, look, it's hard to tell these guys no. And if Tatum wants to go back and do the Olympics, I think you let him, because there's a value to being around that and the national pride and all that goes with it. So I don't have a problem with it. Anyone who complains about it, look, you're just as likely to get hurt in a pro-am or at your local gym or whatever else you're doing.
The Olympics I can make an excuse for. I definitely don't mind Jason Tatum playing in the Olympics. But Tomase, you talk about that crossover pro-am game that Jason Tatum was playing in, and then Thunder rookie Chet Holmgren, before he even gets started, he doesn't have a season. I mean, wouldn't you be worried, though, just a little bit with your superstar playing out there?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you can't tell these guys they don't play basketball all summer. I mean, they're going to play in some form. They're probably going to play some pretty heated pickup games among themselves that we never see, that have every bit the risk of injury that these, pro-am games or international tournament games have. I will say with Tatum, from the bubble to the Olympics to the finals, he played a lot of basketball in a relatively short span, and I think we saw that catch up to him. So he's a guy in particular, I wouldn't mind seeing him take it easy.
Yeah, anytime you see Jason Tatum not playing in an NBA game, if it's a pickup game, pro-am game, you got to be holding your breath just a little bit. Thanks so much, guys.